What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Church Guys Like Sport. Listen, I need y'all to share it. Come on in, tune on in. Don't hate the colors. It's orange and blue. Where all the New York Knicks fans at? I need the Knicks fans on here right now. Welcome to Church Guys Like Sport. That's right, Shelly, you tell them. Knicks for life. Hey, Sister TT Shondo. All right, let's get into it, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Church Guys Like Sports 2. Listen, we got a lot to talk about, but Monday night, I know some of y'all didn't pay it no mind, but Monday night, yes, my New York Knicks beat up on the Atlanta Hawks so bad. We have won 3 games in a row. We got another game tonight for our 4th game in a row. And Julius Randle, you see him right there. He had 44 points. 44 points. Most points by Knicks since 2013 when Carmelo Anthony did it. But he did it better. See, I prefer Julius Randle over Carmelo any day. Because Julius Randle don't mind passing the ball when other folks are open. Carmelo didn't want to pass. Carmelo out here thinking he Kobe Bryant. So I'm hyped. I'm excited. Can't nobody tell me nothing right now because the New York Knicks, we going to make the playoff this year. And Julius Randle is an all-star. Finally got a win. No, it's not a win. We got 14 wins. We got 3 in a row. And right now, the Knicks are looking better than the Nets. The Nets got to deal with all these injuries and all these folks hurt, messing up with them. But the Knicks is looking real good. The Nets is doing all right. The Brooklyn Nets are doing all right. But listen, y'all got to stop with this Brooklyn stuff, acting like Brooklyn Nets is the New York team. The New York team will still always be the Knicks. You see that boy there, R.J. Barrett, running the floor, running the court? The New York Knicks will always be the number 1 team in New York. And Julius Randle had 44 points. He was looking like Bernard King out there. See, some of y'all don't go back that far. I go back to the 80s, early 80s with Bernard King. Bernard King, nobody could stop him. Bernard King would drop 34, 40 points, sometimes even 50 points. New York belongs to the Knicks. The Brooklyn Nets don't have no championship banners in the arena. They ain't got nothing up there hanging from the rafters. Ain't nothing in the Barclays Center. Like I told you the other day, it smelled like weed and cocoa butter. That's all the Barclays Center got. And the New York Knicks are back. The New York Knicks are back. And I'm excited about it. You know why? Because it's been a long time. It's been a long time since we had a team worth talking about. It's been a long time since New York Knicks was worth talking about. And now we are finally back on top. Sister Rosalie Brown says she go back to the 60s. You see, when you go back to the 60s, you remember the championships. You remember Walt Frazier and what's my man, Willis Reed. And everybody say, oh, the Knicks ain't won the championship. Ain't nobody seen the Knicks win. Rosalie Brown seen them win a championship. She seen them win a championship in 1969, 1970, 1973, all them years. I seen them go to the finals in 1994 and in 1999. It's these young buckaroos that ain't never seen nothing. They 15, 16 years old. Well, I ain't never seen the Knicks do nothing. You just got here. If you 10, 11, 12 years old, you just got here. All you know is LeBron James and Steph Curry. But before LeBron James, there was a man named Bernard King. Before Steph Curry, there was a man named Jerry West. All these young buckaroos just now coming out the womb saying the Knicks ain't won. They ain't won because you just got here. You still wet behind the ears. My son and my daughter, they ain't never hardly seen the Knicks in the playoffs because they too young. You got to go back a while. And if Julius Randle does not make it to the NBA All-Star game, it's gonna be smoke in the city. I'm marching. Me, Kevin McCall, we're gonna get a march going. We're going down to the city hall, and we're gonna march on behalf of Julius Randle. Because if he does not get put in that All-Star game, and now they talking about canceling the All-Star game, they better not do that. We finally got an All-Star. No. If Julius Randle is not in the All-Star game, I'm blowing something up. Well, they say you can't say that on live, Pastor. Well, I'm telling you right now, I'm blowing something up if Julius Randle is not on that All-Star game. All right, we got some more to get into. Listen, we're going to talk about some HBCUs. Shout out to all the HBCU schools, historically black college universities. And we're going to talk about that because I want to give a huge shout out to Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders, we know him as Prime Time, one of the best football players to ever. Welcome to Church Guys Like Sports. One of the best football players to ever play. One of the best defensive backs to ever play. He is now coaching a HBCU. And I'm telling you, if all of these black athletes that are coming out of high school would decide to go to HBCUs instead of all of these white universities, you'll see a whole different shebang in college sports. Listen, you'll see a whole new thing in college sports. You'll see people leaving Duke University, going to Howard University, leaving Clemson, going to Morehouse. And I'm telling you, it will shift everything about college sports. Now, I got to deal with something. You see, and I've been trying to be nice. But somebody got to talk about it because they won't talk about it where they're supposed to talk about it. ESPN won't say nothing. Fox Sports won't say nothing. But Church Guys Like Sports, we going to say something. There is a 6'8" transgender, I don't know if you call him a transgender man or transgender woman, what you call him. But 6'8", used to be a man, was married twice, has kids, a father, but he decides that he doesn't want to be a man anymore. He wants to be a woman. And this, he went to college, went back to college at the age of 40 or something, 45. Went back to college, tried out for the women's basketball team. And he made the team. And he's playing college basketball. Took one of the scholarships away from another young girl that come out of high school, and he is on the college basketball team. Not the men's team, but the women's team. And this is some of his clips. That's him. Look at him. Look at it. Do you see that? That's a man. He was in the Navy, a sailor boy. He was a sailor boy. That's him. And now he says he's a woman, and he's playing on the women's basketball team, dominating. Look at it. Look. You see that? First of all, that ponytail ain't no good. Look at this here. And that's who he playing against, these young girls. Look at it. Look. That's not fair. And if you don't have a problem with that, something wrong with you. Look at that. 6'8" man. He still got man strength. And this is what I'm trying to tell folks. I don't care what you say you think you are. You still have the strength of what God created you to be. See, nobody want to talk about this, but I'm going to look at this. Look at this. It's not fair. So you mean to tell me all I got to do at the age of 42, about to be 43 in July, is tell folks I think I'm a woman. And I go down there and try out for the WNBA. And I can play against women and dominate. It's not fair. Look at this big dude. Look at this. First, it is nasty. I wouldn't want him playing against my daughter. Look at that. 6'8" man that thinks he's a woman. I got a problem with that. Because everybody deserves their rights until their rights is making it unfair for everybody else. You can't say, oh, that transgender deserve their rights. And I showed you the other day where a transgender MMA fighter busted a lady's skull, beating her up in the ring. And I can't take seeing a man beat a woman. I can't take it. I can't take seeing a man screaming at a woman, arguing with a woman. Any real man will have a problem with a man putting his hand on a woman. And they let this man beat that lady to a bloody pulp. And according to what they're telling me, this man here is showering. He's showering in the ladies' locker room. He showered with the girls. And as far as I know, he still got his wee-wee. See, nobody want to talk about it. I'll talk about it. I'll let them talk about me. I don't care. I'm a pastor. People talk about me all the time. I'm good with that. But it's the dumbest thing. He wouldn't be in the locker room with my daughter. Now, does that say, well, you against transgender, you a homophobe? No, I'm not that. I'm not none of that. But we got to have common sense. When does common sense come into play? When will they put common sense in the middle of politics? Who's making these laws? Jake Langley said it's a tall, dirty shame. And it is. It's disgusting. The next thing that's going to come, it ain't going to be no more female sports. Because when people see that they can do this and know they didn't make it in the real league for men, they're just going to go with the women. And I'm not discounting women. We have some awesome female basketball players. We have some awesome female boxers. We have some awesome female wrestlers. But your average female does not have the strength of your average male. Well, I know some strong girls. I know some strong guys. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. Your average female does not have the strength of your average male. Your average female does not have the size of an average male. Well, I know some big men. I know you do. But you take the best female basketball player and put them against the best male basketball player. That's right. Put Lisa Leslie against Michael Jordan. You take the best female boxer and put them against the best male boxer. Yes, the best female boxer can probably whip my tail, probably beat me. But put the best female boxer in the ring with Mike Tyson. It's a difference. And what society is trying to do right now, they're trying to erase a difference. And I can understand that, blacks should have the same rights as whites and Chinese ought to have the same rights. All that's good. But when it comes to combat sports, we got to have some common sense. You mean to tell me if Floyd Mayweather wake up tomorrow morning and say he wants to be a woman and he goes through all of the women things, it's okay to put him in a boxing ring with another woman? That's absurd. That's ludicrous. That's Mike Tyson word. That's ludicrous. Oh, I want y'all to share it now. Share it, because I'm gonna yell it to the top of my lungs. It don't make sense. It's not fair. You saw that big old thing. I hate to call it. Yeah, that's murder. I hate to call it a thing. I don't know what y'all help me. I don't know what to call. I don't know what to call it, a her or a he. Robert Taylor, what do we call it? I don't know if it's a her or he or it or thing. I don't know. I don't want to be offensive. I don't know whether it's called a transgender man or a transgender woman. But it's not right. It's not right. So we got to do something. We got to keep saying something. We got to keep pushing this, because if we don't, it's going to get worse. And those of us that have daughters and that have granddaughters that want to go into sports, I want you to know what you're getting your child into. Oh, so we're talking. This is Church. Welcome to Church Guys Like Sports. We're talking about transgender athletes, transgender basketball players now playing female sports and different things. There's a transgender basketball player who is 6'8", 40-something years old, and says he thinks he's a woman now. So I had to backtrack for Brother Kenneth. So now he goes and he's on a female college basketball team, dominating, averaging maybe 50 points and 50 rebounds. And it's not fair to the other young ladies that he's playing against. That's the gist of it. All right, me and my brother Donnie and Derek, we used to go around 3-on-3 tournaments and killing everybody. We think about going in the WNBA. All we got to do is say, because they say you have to, you are what you identify as. I feel like a girl. Let me go play with the girls and dominate. That's not right. If he want to play basketball, fine. Go play with the men. Go play with somebody of your size, of your stature, with your bone structure. And I could give you scripture on top of scripture, what the Bible says about it. But even if we leave the Bible out just for a moment, it don't make common sense. It don't make regular common street sense. It's ridiculous. And they signed the law. President Biden signed the law. One of the first laws he signed when he got in is that he is changing the law that Trump put in place that said transgender people cannot participate in sports at an elementary, junior high school, or high school level. He said they cannot do it. But Biden put it in place that he took that out. He said they can. So in your junior high school, your daughter may be playing against a boy, maybe wrestling against a boy, maybe boxing against a boy. In high school, your daughter may have to get in the boxing ring with a high school boy that thinks he's a girl, a high school track player, track star. Somebody that runs and doing all a 100-meter dash, your daughter will now have to compete with men that think they're women. So that's where that is. Now, I want to go back to football real quick. And Deshaun Watson, let me talk about Deshaun Watson. I was upset with him for a while because he been talking about he want to get traded. Deshaun Watson is the quarterback for the Houston Texans. He's getting paid $40 million a year. And before I knew all the information, I was like, yo, you better just make your money. But I did some research, and 4 years ago, the owner of his team, the Texans, his name was, I believe, something McNair, Mr. McNair. I want to say Steve McNair, but I don't think it's Steve McNair. But Mr. McNair, he has since died since making this statement. When Trump said you should fire these SOBs that want to kneel on the field, they had a big football meeting with all the NFL owners. And the owner of the team that he plays for says these words: "We cannot let the inmates run the prison." He got a black quarterback now, and he says these words: "We cannot let the inmates run the prison." Then, now fast forward to 3 years later, which was just not too long ago, a couple of months ago, this man dies. They were supposed to hire a black coach. They never even hired the coach. Matter of fact, I don't even think they even interviewed him. So now Deshaun Watson, a black quarterback, says, "I'm not playing for this team." He said, "Y'all gonna trade me or I'm just gonna sit out." Now, I'm all for getting your money, but somebody got to make a stand. And he is taking a stand, and I hope his NFL brothers stand with him, unlike they did with Colin Kaepernick. They left Colin Kaepernick out there to dry. But you should not have, and I know it's just a job, but I'm going to tell you, some of y'all that work in corporate, don't be surprised if your boss is racist. Don't be surprised if the CEO of your company that you work for, the owner of the company, may be racist. But sometimes we just got to do what we got to do and get our paper. But then there's sometimes when you can stand up and make change. Most of us, look, I can't afford to miss a day. I need the job. But Deshaun Watson's at the point, look, I'm already rich, and I'm not playing for this racist owner, and I want to be traded. And that's in his right to do, and that's in his right to say. So I don't know what's going to happen, but if it was me, I'll speak my piece, but I'll still get my money. That's if it was me. But I'm not Deshaun Watson. And I don't know how much racism he has actually seen face to face, even in that organization. So you don't have to count. This is a new day. This is a new time. These football players ain't taking what they used to take. Now, let me talk about back to the NBA. Draymond Green. I love Draymond Green. I don't think he's a great player, but he has a powerful voice. And what the NBA has done, there are certain players in the NBA that request trades, kind of like James Harden. James Harden went and gained 30 pounds, and he wouldn't do right until they traded him to the Nets. But what happened the other night was very disrespectful. There's a player named Draymond Green. Not Draymond Green. There's a player named Andre Drummond. the Detroit Pistons want to trade, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they want to trade him. So he's warming up, got on his uniform and everything. They called him off the court. They said, no, we don't want you to play because you might get hurt. Go sit down on the bench and put some street clothes on. And he did it. And he sat there because his owner, word came from the owner that he's not to dress. Even though he's not hurt, nothing wrong with him, but they are interested in trading him. So this is the thing. It is unfair for teams. This is what Draymond Green says. It's unfair for teams to be able to tell a player, you can't play because we getting ready to trade you and all this stuff, and the player doesn't have no say on where they get traded to. And then on the other side, get upset when players demand a trade. When a player says, I want to get traded to a certain team, we slam the player for that. But I got a different take on this, y'all. You can't tell an owner how to run his business. If it's that deep, you put something in your contract that you can't be traded. Listen to me. That's like me if a church hire a musician, but now the church feels like the musician is no longer doing the job that they need him to do. You gonna tell me I can't get another musician and you see that you cannot tell an owner how to run his business. Now, if that's the case, then maybe we need to own our own teams. But there's only one black NBA owner, and that's Michael Jordan. Maybe we need to start more ownership. Because if we now want to tell them, how to run their business, tell the general manager how to trade, that's not our job. Our job is to play on the basketball court, get our money. We can't change our job description. Now, yes, it was disrespectful, but you got to know going into this thing, it's a business. The NBA, these teams, these organizations, they don't really care too much about you. So you can't put all your eggs in that, and you can't do all that caring about them. You just got to play the game and on to the next. That's how the NBA is. That's how the NBA always was. That's how it's always going to be. I don't care what nobody tells you. Don't let them fool you. That's how the NBA is. It's a business first. And when you ain't no more good for business, they're going to take you out, retire you, put you somewhere else. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for joining today. Church Guys Like Sports Too. Listen, we are on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 noon. You can put something in that Cash App. It's $ David Wright Music if you enjoy the show. Listen, you can love God and still love sports. Loving God doesn't take the man out of you. Loving sports doesn't make you less of a woman. All right, church guys and church girls like sports. Signing off. I'll see you on Friday. The Knicks got Orlando tonight, and we're going to win four in a row. Julius Randle going for 50 tonight. Watch. Peace.